right, so we'll get started. So thank you everyone for attending today's session of the Small Credit Union Spring Training Series. To kick off today's call, we have Kristen Cooper. She is an account rep for Clutch, and today she's going to talk about transforming credit unions into fintech lending leaders. So take it away, Kristen. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. I think we can keep this very conversational and dynamic. So, if you have any questions as we go along, I would say I probably won't be monitoring the chat, since I'll be presenting, but feel free to just take yourself off mute and, perfect. Thank you, Amy. And ask the question out loud. So I will do my best to answer any questions, and any that I can't, I'll try to get back to you. So thank you all for joining. Really excited. I guess by show of reactions or in the chat right now, is anybody here previously familiar with Clutch at all? Okay. If anybody is, throw it in the chat, but otherwise it might be brand new to everybody, which is perfectly fine. Okay, seems like it. Exciting. Great. Perfect. So my name is Kristen Cooper. I am an account representative here at Clutch. I cover the Northeast here. So I'm based in New York City, and I cover probably all of your states. I think everybody in the CCUA. So that's Rhode Island, Mass, New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, Pennsylvania. I go up and down the coast and as far east as Michigan, or as far west as Michigan. So I'm really excited to be talking to you all today. And basically what I'm going to go through is present to you a little bit about, where Clutch started, what it is that we do, the results that other credit unions see by working with us, and then I'll go into a little bit of a demo into our lending platform. So today, Clutch is a lending platform that is the member-facing experience online for digital lending. So we don't replace the existing loan origination system that you have today. We just tack on top of that. So we don't become that system of record. The LOS will still exist as that, but using Clutch, your members or non-members can go through the loan application experience all the way to signing, perhaps, all within Clutch. So we actually have more than 140 customers across the country, and we are really fortunate to have all of these different partners and several in the Northeast, customers of all different asset sizes. So we are not specifically focused on, over 5 billion in assets or anything like that. We really love partnering with credit unions across the board. And to give you an idea of where we started, our founders had created a company that they sold to Carvana to make the car buying experience better with Carvana. When they finished that company, they realized, hey, credit unions across the country have, massive amounts of auto loans, but why don't consumers get all of their auto loans from credit unions? Why do consumers still get higher interest rate loans elsewhere? And they realized that it's because a lot of times at credit unions several years ago, and even still to this day, the process of getting an auto loan or an auto refinance loan at a credit union was a little bit arduous and wasn't matching the same expectations that younger generations and younger consumers had on, moving through a financial transaction. So they said, this seems like a pretty easy fix. Why don't we create some software that can help credit unions become fintech-like, so they can compete against those fintech banks, and be able to do this themselves, provide that outstanding member experience to their loyal existing members, but also attract new, younger members as well. Any questions so far? All right, perfect. I'll keep going. So when I'm talking to credit unions today, typically what I hear from them is that they're generally aware that with the likes of Amazon and Netflix and Chime and SoFi out there, that their member, experiences that they're providing are not exactly, the highest grade technology and really what they know that new up and coming members are expecting. There's also often a lot of manual processes within the loan origination process today. So that may mean physical papers or a lot of emailing back and forth with folks. And in order to grow and sustain themselves and attract new members, they really need to have aggressive pricing, and they're doing a lot of expensive marketing, but really maybe technology can bridge some of this gap as well. And then additionally as well, the current, there's a lot of tech debt, and there's a lot of money spent on technology, but where is necessarily the ROI in a lot of these things? So today, when I talk to credit unions about their loan origination process, they recognize that they believe they have a high application abandonment, but a lot of the times they don't even know where where people in the process are getting stuck, or how many applications don't get completed. And that's often because the systems that they use don't state, hey, this many applications were started, this many weren't completed. Just in general, it can still be manual and cumbersome, both on part of the member and on part of the employee. And when a credit union is only being used for, an auto loan once every 5 years, shallow and low margin relationships. So you really want to be the PFI for all of your members and have them do their direct deposit and their checking and all these things with you. But when you're just attracting members, maybe through indirect loans or something like that, you're not getting the high value relationships that you really need for your credit union. So we're trying to look at the entire financial journey and how can you make all of these things easier for your member and make you their, desired place to do all of their financial transactions. So move away from the non-ideal experiences in funding loans to easy applications that are very digitally friendly for your members, which I will go through this demo in just a few minutes. So some numbers that I really wanted us to focus on today are across the board. We see an average for our customers 145% increased overall loan app conversion rates. So if their conversion rate was 20% before, maybe you're seeing 50% now. So that's people who are starting applications and actually finishing them, because there's probably a lot of lost business that you don't even realize is out there. Additionally, when we have customers that add on our deposit account opening product, there is a 72% open and funded deposit conversion rate. So not just opening the account, but actually funding it as well. Today, we're going to focus on lending, but that is something that we have, is making that a single experience for your members for both loan applications, and if they're a non-member, becoming a member and opening an application as well. So here is a testimonial from one of our partners, Georgia United Credit Union. Still a little bit big, but definitely not like your Navy Fed size at $2 billion in assets. And this is their tech stack. They're using Jack Henry Scimitar, Meridian Link as their LOS. And I'd say that's a pretty standard tech stack that we typically see, although we work with many partners across the board for integrations to LOSs and cores. So they said that in the month after launch, they increased their new applications by 30 plus million. And, Clutch gave them hope and confidence that they can compete with anyone in terms of digital speed of applications, which oftentimes now, obviously, there's always the competition of the bid banks, but the digital banks are competing with the bid banks. So how can you provide the same digital experience to your member while also providing better financial guidance, and just a better financial journey for them long term? Secondly, here is another testimonial from Credit Union of America. They're $1.3 billion in assets out of Kansas, and Jack Henry Scimitar and Origin's L360. So they are always trying to simplify the process for their members. Clutch does exactly that. And the other thing is, what you'll see in the demo is we're going to offer things that they're pre-approved for instantly in the process as they go through. So we're not going to start by just taking them down that tar loan application, auto loan application, we're actually going to offer offers to them immediately during the application, which you'll see. So they understand that providing this is allowing you to become stickier and offer things to members. We don't think cross-sell in that dirty word, but in the, hey, maybe you're opening a credit card with the credit union and you have an auto loan that if you've refinanced, you could save $500 a month. And if that means for somebody whose rent just went up by a couple $100 a month, that savings could be huge in regards to their financial health. Oh, Dean, all of this is it's all the same. This is it's the same solution across the board. So predictive, proactive, and instant origination. So based off of the questions they answer, we're going to ask them different questions following that. Hey, you said you have employment. Here, tell us a little bit about that. You need to include information about your rent or your existing mortgage, your income, etc. We're going to assist them throughout the process by offering these different types of loans and then also allowing them to complete the loan process all within Clutch. And then they can fulfill these loans also by signing in DocuSign as well. So what is our dream? Clutch turns credit unions into fintechs. So allow you all to really be a fintech and be agile, be competitive, and have those different advantages. So here we go. Here's kind of an example as well of some of the systems that we integrate with. No need to like super focus on this right now, but I think it's just a good idea to understand that we are going to integrate with a lot of your different systems across the board. And I wouldn't necessarily take this as, a complete list of those integrations, but kind of just a sampling of the ones we work with. So another important thing to note is our loan solution, even though we started with the idea behind auto loans, we serve the entire suite of consumer banking products. So here's just examples of the type of products that you can include in the Clutch application, but we also can do things like recreational vehicle loans. If you do the various, vacation loans, whatever it may be, emergency loans, all those different things can be included. So it's a very configurable platform. All right, so let me get into the demo here. Okay, so this would be branded for your credit union. So with, some sort of background photo that's relevant to you all, your branding, your colors, all those different things, your logo. But for right now, this is a demo environment. So this is what we're going to see. So in here, someone's going to put in their personal number. If for some reason they do not have a cell phone, they can proceed without a cell phone. But typically they're filling this out digitally more often than not mobile, but it also works on desktop. Clearly I'm on a laptop right now. So they're going to receive a 4-digit code. They're going to put in the last four of their social. So it's only the last four of their social. We're not doing any type of hard pull here, only soft pulls. And then this is going to be the information that we're going to pull from public databases. So this information for Toy is correct. I'm going to keep moving on. And if for some reason, maybe they changed addresses, different phone number, different, you can edit the information. So if someone had a member account number that could put this in at this time, also we can have it integrated into your online banking. So it's already, if for some reason a member is starting this process while they're in online banking, we're actually already going to have that personal information and we're not going to ask for it. But in this case, we're acting as if this is somebody who is a non-member going through the process. So they're going to put in what their annual income is, what their housing payment is. Not a co-applicant if they need to. Okay, so like I said before, when they go through the process, we're not going to focus on, hey, you said you're applying for an auto loan. That's the only thing we're going to show you. We're actually going to show you an entire, journey here and all the different types of products that your credit union offers that they would be approved for. So, hey, look, you can get a credit card up to 20,000. Auto loans is kind of what you can expect the APR to be. Personal loans, other loans, etc. So, in this case, we're going to do auto loans, and they can put in the make and model. But also, if you go back here, what I think is really important to note is you can see their existing auto loans. So you can see that the loan they have on their 2018 Subaru Legacy is from Wells Fargo. And they currently have that at 8.99%, and that's $496 a month. So they have an option. There's a couple of options, but they could refinance up to $270 a month if they moved this Subaru Legacy loan from Wells Fargo over to your credit union. So I'm going to click. So here you can see the different terms and how those affect. And we're not creating this, just so you all know, we're gathering all of this information and this decisioning from your loan origination system. So your loan origination system should have all of this information. And because we're integrated to it, that's where we're going to pull this information from. And then additionally, if you use gap and payment protection, we integrate with several providers like Allied Solutions, TrueStage, etc. And so you can have them show if they have an interest in these products as well. So here they can see the terms of their loan. And we're going to do sign with DocuSign. And something to note is when we go through this, what you're going to see is an automatically generated payoff statement. So Clutch is going to automatically generate this. But additionally, what you're going to see in your loan origination system as well is you're going to see window stickers that are generated. So this is, we're saving a lot of the time from your teams by automatically generating those window stickers and those payoff statements. So that is the process here. Adopt and sign. Finish. And it really is that easy. So in this case, if you added the deposit account opening solution, we're going to ask them, hey, you need to complete your new account because you created a loan and you're not a member yet. And you're going to say, how are you able to join membership? So that's, live, work, or your employee of a select employer group, whatever it may be. So I'm going to stop right there and leave time for questions. I did want to emphasize, so we can work with that our limitations are not based off of size of credit union. It's really the only limitation. I still wouldn't think this is a limitation is do you all are using software that we integrate with, which typically most credit unions are using similar systems. So maybe Sync1 or Meridian Link or Origins. And then even still, we're constantly building new integrations. So that also is an option as well.
Well, thank you very much, Kristen. I really appreciate it. Great presentation. We will move on to Arjun. He is the co-founder and CEO of Ascent, and he will be our next speaker today.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you, Christian. A big fan of Nikki. Know him from a while. So awesome company, Clutch. Excited to hate playing golf with him, but apart from everything else, he's excited to tell you about Ascent. Awesome. Well, hey guys, I am Arjun. I'm one of the co-founders of Ascent and really excited to walk you through kind of the platform. So making data actionable, that's kind of the phrase I want you guys to think about. I'll take bits and parts of what Christian said, where our core focus is how do we empower you as a credit union to compete as a fintech, but even further, how do we empower you to utilize that data to make experiences better for your members, for yourself, and the institution in general? So just to be How many of you guys, if you want to raise your hand, how many of you guys have used ChatGPT? Okay, perfect. Most everyone has, right? So if you could have a system like ChatGPT within your institution to ask questions, wouldn't that be super helpful? If you could see like all the other products and services that your members are getting from other institutions, or if you could see if someone was about to go delinquent, but have that question and that data prior to them even doing that, right? Preempting any of that. Or if you could understand what, like, not just from a holistic standpoint, who to actually like would be a good fit for a product, but being able to contextualize that based by personal milestones and, what they're actually a fit for, right? Those are just some things that I hope you'll be able to answer by the end of this demo. I love this slide because it gives some background to who we are as people, and we started this company. So started this company about 2 years ago. We have similar to Clutch and a few other fintechs you must have talked with. We have the same investors, TrueStage, and a few other funds. My personal background was I started a company in a very different space, and then worked at a bank, and then ended up starting Ascent a few years ago. But these five tenets are kind of the core things we do when we start working with any partner, and we like to make sure we're aligned with them, right? When you see Ascent, you're going to see that anyone should be able to use it, and that is primary part of this entire company. Is like it is designed that you don't have to be a data engineer, a data scientist to use Ascent. You can be like me, who has no clue how to engineer anything, and I still feel comfortable using this platform, right? We believe partnerships are key to success, right? As we know this, we're talking to you guys as customers, but we believe in the partnership approach. Like we work with you, you work with us to make us better, and hopefully make you guys a lot better. We want to make this easiest deployment you have, and we believe that transparency is super critical in that, right? We tell you about everything we do and how we do it. So those are five key tenets. I know as you guys look at us, we also understand and want to work with you, but those are tenets we look at. So what exactly do we do? Right? We turn data into actionable insights, right? You have a lot of data across your institution, right? You have different cores, different point solutions. You have something for mortgages, something for accounting. Everything's super different, right? All the data is siloed within your institution, right? And it becomes this kind of realistically a chaotic mess. So we come in and we allow you to streamline all that data together and then allow you to actually understand that data without it being super kind of convoluted. And then we allow you to make decisions on that data, right? So, Arjun's income's gone up. He's a perfect fit for credit card X that we have. And how do you actually give that incentive and give that action item built onto it? We also allow you to create and optimize any form or application, right? So when you see Ascent, you're going to have two parts of Ascent. One is this form building capability. So any form, any application, anything you have, right? We allow you to put into our no-code builder, change it up to any capacity, and have a fully configured template that allow you to pop this out, right? So if you want to have something with mortgages or you want to do something with personal credit cards, you can build that directly in a sense no code builder without it being a complicated thing. Push it out and we start collecting data from there, right? And so this is a small case study that I'm going to just chat about, right? So this institution, about 250 million in assets, they came to us. They wanted to have a much better flow for their personal loan and mortgages, right? An application that was intuitive, that they could streamline in a much better capacity, and that we could then push either into the core of their LOS, right? We built their mortgage application, their personal loan application. They built it themselves using our builder. Again, really driving down the simplicity of the fact. And they had a lot of different things. They had a 40% reduction in online abandonment, increase in frontline staff. The number that I find really, really exciting and really fascinating that they talked about was like reduction in fraud and spam, right? I know online applications, you have a lot of RAM. So we built out different capabilities to reduce both of those and also utilize data from different sources to match out that no one is actually committing fraud. Yeah, and so that was kind of the core thought. But this is just the starting point of Ascent, right? So we are more a data company, and the demo we're going to show you today is around this data. This is applications on how we can collect parts of that data, but I want you to focus on what do you actually do with that data, and that's kind of the meat of what we're going to show you today. and that is OneView, right? It basically is a way to combine, clean, and understand internal and external member-based data and allow you to take actual action items on that exact data that you see. And I'm going to go through the benefits before you see the demo of this, but there are a few key benefits that I want you to look at, right? It is a massive reduction in manual workloads, increases efficiency, and a reduction of errors immediately. For members, kind of, again, it is a manual reduction for any manual data entry. There's no guesswork in what you have to submit. And here's the kicker, right? Once we have that data on that end member, you don't have to resubmit it, right? Once we have your documents, once we have connectivity to cloud, you don't have to resubmit any data ever again. I think from this is kind of the three key areas your institution really takes of it. Truly hyper-personalized engagement based on the end member, a massive reduction in fraud, and being able to quantify risk not just for an individual member across one silo, but across the entire institution. And operational efficiency, revenue growth, but where everyone's going, right? How do you get ready for AI? You have clean and usable data, and that's kind of how you're going to compete in the next 20 years. What you're going to see today is kind of this concept of, yes, we can take data from any institution that you have, any form application, anything that even from third parties, and we push it into OneView. All right, I'm going to turn it over and I also rushed through that because the more important thing is John's demo. I'll turn it over to John and let him kind of walk you guys through the demo of Ascent.
Sounds great, Arjun. Thank you. And thanks everybody for your time. My name is John Byrne. I'm a senior solution engineer with Ascent. Arjun talked about how we empower credit unions to take data and turn it into actionable insights. And what you're looking at here is OneView. So there's utility, whether it's from a universal banker approach, somebody comes into a branch, they call on the phone. I'm able to get relevant data about the members and be able to develop action plans, make recommendations, all based on data. Could be also as simple as coming in the morning, logging in, and I'd have a list of my members here on the right-hand rail. And then I've got specific tasks that have been assigned to me related to specific members. And you'll notice that within each member, aside from the aggregated exposure, which gives us some more top-line information, we've also got specific call-outs, which we'll take a look at as well. So let's dig in. We can jump into Alex. So as I come into Alex's view, I've got some relevant data up here about Alex. I've got the number of data points that we currently have on Alex. So Arjun had mentioned how we're able to persist data, whether we're getting that data from the core, we're getting it from the LOS, from another enterprise system, or just from previous engagements that we've had with this member. They filled out an application, they filled out a form. Wherever that data is coming from, as Arjun had just shown you in that diagram, we're able to aggregate all that information and put it into OneView and empower credit unions to be able to not only more deeply understand their members, but also understand, hey, where do we want to take the relationships next based on the information that we're seeing. So I've got that relevant information up here about Alex. I can also see some top line data points, some basic statistics. It'd be really easy for me to be able to come in if I wanted to find some more information. You'll notice that as I'm picking these additional data fields, those are populating in my view. Really easy for me to be able to come in and customize the specific information that I want about Alex. I've also got a call out of the products that he's currently carrying through the credit union, some contact information that you would imagine, and then also understanding, like we talked about, getting that data and persisting that data. We offer third-party integrations with systems like Plaid and QuickBooks and the IRS. And I'm able to understand at a glance the connections that Alex currently has live, but then I can also make requests of Alex based on the information that I'm seeing. OneView is really about not only turning data into actionable insights, but then also making it really, really easy for credit unions to take the information that they're seeing and engage with members right from within OneView. If I see that Alex is missing a QuickBooks integration and I want to make that request, really easy for me to just quickly right here from within OneView, I can push some communications to Alex, requesting him to connect that QuickBooks. The benefits for Alex are obvious, where through those forms and applications, like Arjun had mentioned, we don't want to have people repeat things that we already know about them. And then obviously for the credit union, it's going to add to the robust member profile that we're building on Alex, creating deeper learnings, creating stronger, more targeted recommendations, all with an idea of having substantive conversations and relationships with Alex as he goes through his relationship with the credit union. Top line information that you would expect, like credit score, we pull from all three major credit bureaus. We also have an integration with Exactus, which is a credit score aggregator. And then we also want to understand, hey, what are the processes that we're currently engaged with Alex? So what are the documents that we've requested from him that he's already provided? What are the documents that are still outstanding? Again, taking action from right within OneView. If I'm seeing some specific document requests based on information that I'm gathering that I need to reach out to Alex about, I can easily do that right from within OneView. So all of these actions are just a click away based on what am I seeing from the credit union side, and then how do I want to engage with Alex? What are the specific things that I need? But I'm coming at it from an informed perspective, really having a deep understanding not only of Alex's current situation, but what are some of the recommendations that we want to make moving forward? And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. We'll talk a little bit more about cash flow when we get to one of our other members, but here on the right-hand side, I, as the credit union, have created what we would refer to as events. And the events are going to break down into two distinct buckets. We'll take a look at fraud, and then we'll also take a look at anomalies, which are really just atypical behaviors that we're seeing from the member. On the credit union side, I've created these specific criteria. I've got fraud criteria, I've got anomaly criteria. So maybe I've got an anomaly that's been created that says, anytime there's been a missed income deposit, at least one time of greater than $1,000, I want you to call that out to me. All of these criteria created by the credit union, and then we're surfacing them through OneView, presenting them to the associates, allowing them to understand the dynamics currently happening with Alex. And then beyond that, we're taking those events and then we're turning those into recommendations. Based on what I know about Alex's current product roster, we're going to offer him the opportunity to enroll in Skip-a-Pay. And then we're also going to offer the opportunity to enroll in a clean slate refinancing product. You'll notice that for the clean slate refinance, we've got this 16/19 designation up here in the right-hand corner. That means that for that clean slate refinancing product, we've got a 19-question application that needs to be completed in order for that evaluation to start. And based on all the information that we've pulled about Alex, whether it's from the core, LOS, enterprise systems, previous engagements, like I mentioned, we already have 16 of the 19 data fields needed. Arjun talked about how we're able to eliminate redundancies in terms of asking for the same information over and over again. And this calls out to the associates on the credit union side the specific information that they need in order to complete this application for Alex. I could get Alex on the phone. Maybe Alex comes into the branch. I could supply this information myself, but then I could also send a request to Alex, which is only going to designate those three specific fields that we don't yet have in order to get Alex across the finish line. So for Alex, there's a minimal amount of lift that's involved in order for him to apply for this refinance product. And then obviously on the credit union side, we're demonstrating to Alex, hey, we understand where you are. We have some recommendations on where we think, you need to go. And all of this is based on data. I want to pause there before we jump into another member, just to see if there's any immediate questions that we can answer at this point.
One thing I would add really quickly is what you saw with Alex. The core concept around that is it's just human nature. Like no one likes sending information over and over again. And by sending very specified asks and tasks, you are hyper personalizing every interaction you have with it, right? So rather than sending them a blanket application where you might ask the address again, it's like, hey, we just don't have that one specific piece of information. everything else is we have and you're ready to go.
Let's take a look at Aisha. Aisha is another member at our credit union. Very similar layout to what we saw with Alex, but obviously her products are going to be different. So we can see that she's got a credit card through us. She's also carrying some life insurance. Again, all of the basic same parameters. I could add additional widgets if I wanted to see things specific to Aisha. And then we've got our events and we've got our action items. You'll notice that when we talked about Alex with his anomaly, it was something that was negative in terms of a missed deposit, where for Aisha, we can have positive anomalies as well. So we're seeing, based on the criteria that I, as the credit union, have set up, we're seeing an increase in her income. Because of that, we want to be able to call out to her specific recommendations. So we're incorporating everything that we know about Aisha, and then we're able to take that specific data and make those informed recommendations. With the income increasing and understanding that she already has a credit card through us, we're going to offer her the opportunity to increase her credit limit. And also understanding that she already has life insurance through us, we're also going to offer her the opportunity to increase her coverage. So there are events that happen, things that we're able to observe, that we're then overlaying with the information that we already have about the member, that are then allowing us to make really informed, substantive recommendations to the member to allow them to improve their situation, whatever it may be. So we're able to engage with members based on the data that we're seeing. But with our income increasing, maybe we want to alert other teams within the credit union. Maybe we have a wealth management team. Maybe we want to alert other folks within the credit union that they should be having conversations with Aisha as well. It's really easy for me to be able to share these anomalies, positive or negative, with other associates within the credit union to help them be more informed about Aisha, to help them have those entry points into conversations with Aisha about where we want to take the relationship. So we're not just able to engage with the member directly, but we're also able to engage with our teammates to allow them to understand things that are happening with Aisha that may impact them, and then allowing them to take the next step in terms of how we want to engage with Aisha. So anomalies can be positive as well. And if I come back over onto the member page, let's jump into Jack. So Jack has the same positive anomaly that Aisha has. He has income increasing. But Jack does not have a credit card with us. He does have life insurance. So we're going to offer him the same opportunity to increase that life insurance. And you'll notice that with Jack, he's got 16 of the 17 fields that we need in order to increase the life insurance. So again, we just need that one data field and we can process this application. Like Arjun had mentioned, really helping the members to understand the minimal amount of lift that's involved in order for them to engage in the process and have this quickly be done and then be able to get onto other parts of their day. So Jack, his income is increasing. He doesn't have a credit card. He does have life insurance. We offer the opportunity to increase the life insurance, but now we're also going to offer him the opportunity to enroll in or apply for a balance transfer credit card through the credit union. Much like we saw with the insurance application, he's got the majority of the application filled out. We just need one piece of information. Again, I, as the associate, can readily apply that information if I'm able to get it from Jack, or we can push out communications to Jack and ask him for that information as well. Understanding what the data tells us, understanding the breadth of the relationship that we have with Jack. But there's also an additional element to this when we're looking at Jack that is the impetus for us offering this credit card opportunity. And that's something that we take a look at, which is called wallet share. You'll notice up here we have two different tabs. We've got the one view, which we've been digging in for Aisha and for Jack here and for Alex. But then we're also going to be able to show wallet share. And wallet share, simply stated, is what are the products that this member is carrying, but he's not carrying them with me. And we're able to get that information from Core or from a Plaid integration. We're able to take that payment information, ascertain specific payments, assign it to specific products. So in this case, we understand based on payment information that we're collecting that Jack has a Delta Sky Miles Blue card. Because of that, we know that that's not through us. Because of the positive anomaly that we saw in terms of his income increasing, combined with this competitive opportunity, we're going to be able to offer that credit card. So it's not just based on what you see within the anomaly. Like I mentioned before, you're overlaying that with a deeper understanding of the member through the products that they're currently carrying, and then being able to make those real-time recommendations based on all that information. So we're taking data, as Arjun mentioned, and we're turning it into actionable insights, empowering credit unions to have those productive, informed conversations with their members to be able to enact on, great news for Jack, his income is increasing. We've got a 3D picture of the relationship because we know the products that he has, and then we're able to make recommendations based on all of that data. And that's really the power of OneView, is arming credit unions with data, but then also helping them understand, what do I do next with this data? How do I most well position myself to the member to let them know that we've got their best interests at heart. We understand where they're going. We understand where they are, and we want to help them get there. And that's really the power of OneView. So Arjun, I'll hand it back to you.
Perfect. So again, this slide now makes a lot more sense. I just want to reiterate that. So any systems that you have, right, be it any core, any LOS, you're using systems such as Clutch, any of those systems, we can take data from those systems, give a 360 view, and then allow you to actually make insights on that, right? And again, as you're going to walk through, the impact to that credit union and what we found where OneView is applied is massive, right? You have more proactive outreach where you're not reaching out to a member if they've already gone delinquent. You're reaching out months in advance because you have those data, you have that insight. Yeah, you're reaching out with more relevant offers, right? We work with some marketing companies where instead of sending blanket emails to everyone where this is the best credit card or this is the best personal, no, this is just geared towards Arjun that you send out, right? And more importantly than anything else, you have a approach to a member that is very personalized. So why now? I think this slide speaks for itself, right? As Kristen mentioned, you are not just competing with big banks. You're not just competing with digital banks. You're competing with everyone, right? So experience is paramount. Experience not just for your members, but also for internally for your employees. That is going to be critical, right? We work with most LOSs and cores, but they're not the easiest to get on in the morning and work with. Not designed too much for great ease of use, right? So how do you make that process really simple for your employees? How do you give them the power to make their own decisions, the agency to feel comfortable, right? That's what OneView gets you. The cleansing of data on demand, right? If you have all this data, you can work with companies. We can help you streamline and get a data strategy and AI strategy in place, right? And I think there's this myth that AI is super complicated, large institutions get it. No, everyone should be able to utilize it. You have so much data. How do you actually get your institution to start utilizing that, right? And obviously, the longer you wait, the harder it becomes, right? The more systems you jump on, the more disjointed your infrastructure becomes, right? And this is a way to kind of make sure you can kind of stay ahead of the curve as fast as possible. Again, how we work, it's super simple, right? You work with us, you figure out use cases around OneView, right? If it's delinquency, if it's improvement of credit cards, any of those systems, we work with you to figure that out. We won't just give you the builder and allow you to build it. We'll work with you, build out those use cases with you. You give us access to your core, and we're off to the races, right? This entire process from start to finish can take us like less than 50 days. We just put 50 days because we need to figure out what core you have, and that's usually the biggest pain point. But apart from that, it's fairly simple. And that's it, right? It's a very simple process to get started, and we work with you to identify those use cases and get excited about it, and then we show you the whole shebang. Because there's stuff we showed in here that we haven't showed, which are some of our clients use, which is truly like we love this, but that takes it even further. Yeah, so happy to answer any questions.
Okay, well, big thank you to you guys for joining the call today. We'll see you guys next week for our next session of the Small Credit Union series. We appreciate it. Thank you.